Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, the show for visionary coaches, healers, wellness pros, and small business owners who aren't just here to host another feel-good getaway, but to build a profitable, impactful retreat business. I'm your host, Shannon Jamail, retreat strategist, business mentor, and owner of a 46-acre retreat center. I've hosted over 100 retreats around the world, and I've made every mistake so you don't have to. Each week, we'll dive into the mindset, marketing, money, business, and mechanics behind sold-out, profitable retreats. Plus, hear from expert guests who are walking the talk. Whether you're planning your first retreat or scaling your 100th, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show. Hey guys, welcome back to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. I am Shannon, and I am here with some incredible humans that I cannot wait to introduce you to. So welcome. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. And if you're not new here, could you do me a favor? You know me by now. You know what to expect. Will you please follow the show, subscribe to the show, and leave me a review? It really means the world to me. And I feel like sometimes a broken... What is that called? A broken something, because I keep asking you guys to do that, but it really means the world to me. So if you could do that, I'd love it. All right. Well, welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
So glad you're here. Today at our studio in Austin, I have Lauren and Nandita, and we are going to talk about some fun stuff today. But first, I'm going to invite you guys to tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, thank you, Shannon. My name is Lauren Coletti, and I'm a nurse practitioner. I work in what's called functional medicine. So I've been the last 20 years working with adults, but primarily women, the last 10 to 15, doing all really understanding health issues, getting to the root cause, we would call, but specifically helping women in midlife at this moment. So really 35, 40 and up, supporting them with hormones, gut health, life support, mindset, really helping them holistically. Yes. And it's personally, I've experienced, I'm in that phase, yes.
Me too.
Yeah, I know, right? But we look at sort of the medical side, which is really helping them understand what's going on in their body and giving them tools, but also really supporting them on the emotional side. So that's what I've been up to the last, almost 2 decades.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Nandita. I am a seasoned C-suite executive who climbed the corporate ladder for the last 20 years, scaled a variety of companies within the health and wellness space, and a year ago decided to quit and start my own company.
Not scary at all.
No, not scary at all. It's been actually incredible. And today I am the co-founder of Soul Women along with Lauren.
Yes.
And we work with women in midlife and really help them just transition through this phase through functional medicine. We do a lot of mindset coaching, and we do a lot of retreats, which is what we're here to talk about.
Yes. Okay, so exciting. You've been at Alive and Well, right, Lauren?
Yeah, so I co-founded the clinic, the functional medicine
that's what I
clinic,
thought.
Alive and Well.
Yeah.
And the two of us met there.
Did you?
Yeah, that's how we met. And really, I had seen clinically just a big gap in how we support women. So functional medicine is incredible. We get women on hormones. We do full comprehensive testing. So we really dig deeper. So many women feel gaslit, feel just not supported by the system.
Yeah.
And so I've been providing that type of care for nearly 15 years. But there's such a big, we can do the testing, we can give you the hormones, we can balance that. But there's the connection, the refining of ourselves. There's just so much else to it. And that's when Nandita and I both experienced personally, but I think Nandita can tell you a little bit more about her story. But really, we were so passionate about serving even more holistically, and that's where the mindset, accountability, and really the retreats where we get to pull ourselves out of the doing and the busyness and the craziness of not life to like pour into ourselves, reset, and then go back in supported to be able to implement and withstand the changes that you want to make. Yeah. It's wonderful to retreat, but we want to go back and reintegrate. And that's what we are so passionate about. And what we saw was really women needed more support in the day in, day out. Yeah.
Yeah. When I transition gradually into perimenopause, when I got closer to 40, I had been in the functional medicine space for quite a while. And so I know the importance of balancing your hormones and eating well and nutrition and lifestyle. And I did all of those things, which helped so much.
Sure.
And there were other elements that were still lacking.
Yeah.
And that's where we recognize the importance of mindset, really switching that mindset and taking care of your nervous system, and the importance of coming together with other women, getting off of your hamster wheel of day-to-day running your business, taking care of the kids, and really pulling yourself out of that routine for a good portion of time, 3 to 5 days, where it really gets you to think about yourself and reflect a little bit and journal and sit with yourself and your thoughts, probably for the first time in
ever.
Sometimes the scariest thing is just to be with ourselves.
Yeah.
As someone who's a perpetual doer, and we have lots of things that take our attention, to take the space to be with ourselves can be one of the hardest, most challenging things. But when you get over that hump,
it's just
it's
incredible.
Transformative.
Yeah. And it's incredible to bring these high-functioning type A women together who have just been creating and building and very much in their masculine, to now into a group where they can actually focus on themselves and start talking about how they're feeling and maybe get a little bit vulnerable. It's like, what? It's like, isn't being vulnerable a weakness? No, it's not. Oh my gosh.
Right.
That was the first time I learned about the importance of vulnerability and opening up. And that's really where Lauren and I truly connected, was on a retreat in Costa Rica.
That's where this kind of all was birthed.
It all was birthed. It was like this aha moment was, oh my God, this is exactly what we need to do. This is what we needed in life. And we recognize that there are so many other women out there who have various individual components of it, but putting it all together is where the magic happens.
Yeah. Okay, so you're speaking my language on so many levels. But what really fires me up, and I'm going to try not to take us on a tangent, is the gap that you guys are talking about that's missing specifically in female medicine in general. Yeah. Medicine being holistic, mind, body, heart, spirit, connectivity, all of it. Yeah. There's just such a gap because we go through things that men can't fathom. And most of today's medical world, research, everything, medicines, everything you can possibly imagine is based on male research, right? It's only been the last few decades.
Since 93.
Oh, my Lord.
That was the first time a woman was included in research. How ridiculous is that?
And most likely that woman was, we're postmenopausal. So that is because research, and I don't need to get on a tangent
I
too
can
much
go
either,
there too.
But I can get into the nitty-gritty science. But postmenopause, because if you think about studies, we want to be able to control everything. And women's cycles are not on a 24-hour clock, right? We are cyclical in that we have 28-day. We have kind of week by week, different fluctuations in hormones, which is a superpower.
Yes, love that.
But it's not what's the standard, right?
Yeah.
And so studies have been done on postmenopausal women. And now we're trying, there is initiatives and money, but it was so slow to, research takes 7-10 years to really, be able to be implemented.
Right, to gain traction at
all. So it's like, women are done. We're done waiting for it. And this is a really beautiful time that we see, like empowerment, women realizing we control a lot of this world. We birth children, we birth businesses, we control most of the spending in the U.S. So
we outlive the men.
We outlive the men too. Men live
Despite
longer.
the research bullshit, we actually still outlive them.
And men live longer in relationship
yes,
with
they
us.
do.
Absolutely.
Yes, they do.
And I think most men will attest, yes. But it's just women are realizing this model, which it doesn't make men bad. They just have their physiology and it has been optimized from as long as we can know. It's all we've known as entrepreneurs and businesswomen and just leaders. But that doesn't mean that tuning into our body and really working with our hormones and doesn't mean that we could potentially even elevate what is the standard now as far as business, as far as abundance, as far as impact.
Yeah.
This idea of feminine just lounging around doing nothing, that's not what we're about, right? We need to pour into ourselves and take a pause to be able to recharge and then go at it in a way that's aligned.
Yes. Okay. So love, love, love. Yeah, I don't want to take us too much on a tangent. I could get so. Anyway, I could get worked up.
We could too.
About the fact that there's been such a huge discrepancy. There's still a huge discrepancy, but there are places, there's spaces, there's people like y'all who are creating environments and experiences to circumvent the bullshit that's missing, right? To put the whole picture together. I also love the fact that y'all met on retreat and that's where the idea was birthed.
Totally.
Because you never know where, like, listen, I know this is a show about retreats. I get that, obviously. But you never know what room or what space you could be in that a business idea that's a beautiful idea is birthed. And so tell me about the experience in Costa Rica and how that was birthed.
Well, we didn't even know. So we worked together and we individually booked this retreat without telling each other.
We didn't
Stop
know.
it.
Totally.
We just
She was just hired as a COO.
Yeah.
And I had the co-founder. And so she was new. I'll let you go.
And and I remember going to Lauren saying, Lauren, I know we're going to the same retreat after I found out. And I was like, I just want you to know that I really, I'm there to focus on myself.
Yeah, both of us were like, we don't want to feel this awkward. We want to go and like pour into ourselves.
With you. I don't want to have to.
In other words, leave me the fuck alone. I'm going to go and have
alone. I know. And
Fast forward.
Look where you are
we're
now.
besties. But yeah, we went to the retreat, and for the first time, Shannon, I got to really just stop and take a moment to myself. And it was life-changing. I mean, there was my life completely, there were some big, big decisions that I made at that retreat. One of which was to end a marriage of mine that was 20 years long. The other one was where we were lying there. I remember lying there by the beach with this book in my hand. And I jumped up and I was like, Lauren, this is exactly what we need to do. We need to combine functional medicine and we need to bring women together. And, how amazing would it be to wake up and actually be drinking coffee together like this on a daily basis for a period of time and connect and talk about things that are important to us and our kids playing together, and what a beautiful experience it would be. And so, different iterations from there came about, and now we have Soul Women. And so, yes, retreats is coming together, belonging, community, feeling like you have a group of women. Women need other women. You can have lots of male friends, but women need other women to connect deeply, understand each other, fall apart in front of each other, and know that there's no judgment. You're held, and we all kind of rise, and we rise together.
It's funny. So this is not meant to be sexist because there's exceptions to everything.
Absolutely.
But for the whole, men are fine with just their spouses, or maybe one person. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like they just are like, yeah, whatever. We as women crave that connection. And we may not even know it sometimes until we experience the connection, and then we go, holy crap, this has been missing. I just got chills. This is the missing element, is this connection with other women, so that we don't feel alone in whatever it is we're experiencing. Because we've been taught for how long to not talk about it. Don't talk about these hormonal changes. Don't talk about what's happening in your relationship. Don't talk about, just show up and do what you got to do, right? And so I keep getting chills because it's like, this is what retreats do. They do it for everyone, men, women, co-ed, all of it. But obviously, I'm in the female space. Y'all are in the female space as well, for the most part. And to see that is incredible.
It's really it's not about women being alone, because we are surrounded by people.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's being vulnerable and being open and letting our guard down, feeling safe. Like we don't have any to be anywhere. We don't have to do anything. Like we can actually just exhale. That is what accelerates healing, the community part that retreats really uniquely create that container, whether it's in a day retreat, a 3-day retreat, or a week, right?
And with other people who get it.
Exactly.
Who all of a sudden are like, oh, I may not be alone, but I felt lonely. And now
100%.
I love this.
And here's why it's very important during this transition of midlife. It's because nobody is really openly talking about all of these transitions, the emotional turmoil that one can go through. Right. I mean, now I feel like there's a lot of, there's a plethora of information coming out around perimenopause and menopause.
Yes.
And
Some
you
of it
never
really
know
good.
what is true and what is
Some of
not
it not.
true. That's right.
It's mostly
yeah.
selling something.
It's
you know?
all- yes.
So that's also
Yeah.
But when you're surrounded by other women who talk about it, this was my experience. When I broke down and shared with another woman what I was feeling, total stranger, she opened up and said to me, "Oh my God, yes, I feel the same way." And then I was standing in line at Whole Foods and I talked to somebody and she said, "Oh my God, I feel the same way." And so when I talk about it, I'm giving this other person permission to talk about it. And that's how
Yes.
you connect.
Yes.
Right? Even, I mean, I shared with Lauren things that I haven't talked to anybody else on that retreat because I felt safe.
Yeah.
And so,
and it didn't take long. Like it doesn't need to be this long.
No.
It's
process.
usually by the second day.
Yep.
What I've noticed is by the second day, and then if there was anyone who's like that really shy introvert that's just like hanging on to like, oh, I just don't feel like okay. By the third day, forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody has cracked open in some way.
Yep.
And it's not all heavy and crazy. Sometimes it's just, you know, being joyful to be in a space with women who are of like-minded and who are just wanting to uplift each other. But a lot of times it's
Allow
that.
ourselves to
I
play
think
and have fun.
also,
I mean,
also letting go of stuff is joyful.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
once you like let go of the heaviness, there's a lightheartedness
Light.
that comes out and you can laugh about it and recognize that you are not alone in this. And that's beautiful too.
Yeah, and we actually get an opportunity to. I was going to say we get an opportunity to connect to the playful side of us that's been missing. But it reminded me that I saw TikTok. Y'all, that damn shit's so addicting. I got to figure that out. But I saw TikTok the other day. I actually have parameters on my social media, so I'm talking out of my ass. But I saw one the other day that was like, menopause women, we get to live our teenage life, but without caring what people think.
Yep. I know.
amen.
How cool is
Amen.
that? And I'm
No,
like, that
that's
is
good.
exactly
That's
right,
good.
right?
I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
that's a
just
good
have
one.
so much wisdom and we don't give two shits anymore.
No.
And what we've tolerated, like we just no longer want to. Not from an it's not. It shouldn't be
No.
from this angry place. It's just like, hey, I'm putting up boundaries, and this I'm not going to tolerate anymore. And to the receiver,
Yeah.
that's going to be however they take it. But to the woman, that's just freeing. And
Yeah.
it's this owning it, and just
Yeah.
not caring anymore.
Yeah, I love the boundaries because I think that's really what transitions and menopause is. You learn to put the boundaries up to protect you, and to your point, you don't care how it's received on the other end, as long as it's not coming from this angry, bitter,
course.
because
Yeah.
that's not helpful
That's not
anyway.
serving
Yeah,
anyone.
it's not helping you even. But when it's coming from this like joyful, loving place for yourself, and here's my boundary to maintain that. It's not my business even how that person receives it, to be honest with you. Maybe there's exceptions if it's your spouse or your children. There might be like, okay, let's talk about this and talk about why this is important, et cetera, and so forth. But for the most part, you get to just be this person. It's like, I'm protecting my joy and my peace. And that means I'm not allowing XYZ. And I just think that's powerful. And that is a learned behavior, by the way, too, sometimes,
Absolutely.
that can happen on retreat.
Yep,
You get to
sure.
talk about these things.
Getting the awareness and clarity is first, right? You have to be able to pause. Like we can't keep operating the way we've been operating. When we physically, our biology shifts that it no longer really allows us to.
Yeah.
And we find that, I would say both Nandita and I are in that class, but we just kind of want to double down and keep doing the same thing because we feel like we have it figured out because it's worked up until that point. But it's a beautiful opportunity when you're able to kind of pause and have that moment to have awareness like, wow, okay, yeah, I'm realizing like this, it gives me chills, like this isn't working. And so then okay, now I have a support group of women who also, and we have the functional medicine, the mindset, like the other opportunities that, okay, help me. Like I know that this isn't working, but I need a whole new toolkit. Like I don't know how to implement, how to shift this. And it doesn't have to be massive.
Right.
It can be very small over time, but we need to be supported in that and encouraged.
Like our parents don't know how to teach us this because they weren't supported and held. I mean, I think about my mom, but especially like my nonna, my grandma, like that generation and earlier, really my mom's from before me. It's like there was none of this. Like, let's talk about how we're feeling. Those
Emotions.
night sweats or the whatever, all the different things. And to be honest with you, I feel like menopause, there's some physical hell for sure. But the mental hell, I think, is almost worse because you feel trapped in this brain and body that is like doing weird
Unrecognizable.
shit. Yeah. And so, and nobody talked about it before. You know, I even think back, y'all, it wasn't very long ago that they would lock women up when they were going through this period of life, you know? And so having this space, having these experiences, tell me about your retreats. What do they look like? Walk me through what that looks like that you guys host together.
Yeah, we do 1 day and 3 day retreats.
Love it.
So the 1 day retreats are broken up. We have 3 pillars at Soul Women.
Okay.
There's the functional medicine aspect. There's mindset and accountability coaching, nervous system rebalancing as part of that. And the third one is sisterhood and community. And so those are the 3 elements that we have found to be really imperative in helping a woman transition through this phase. The 1 day retreats, you get a little bit of each one of those pillars. And so you get blood work done, a really in-depth female hormone panel that, you know, is a good
Biomarker.
$600 in value. You get a full in-depth review of that lab panel with Lauren. We do a lot of mindset accountability. We do a little bit of some form of nervous system regulation is done, and then women coming together to reconnect and talk and journal, reflect. That's
We
a
usually
big
have vendors,
component.
so
We
like
have,
jewelry or different, you know, just fun.
yeah,
A little
there's
bit of
a fun
shopping
element for
fun.
sure. We have some kind of fitness that we throw in there, and we found we started off with having a really packed schedule, and I think our biggest lesson
Less is
was
more.
less is more.
Less is more. Women just want to be
Women
together and
love
chit chat.
Preach it.
talking.
I try to say that all the time.
It's like, and we don't need to hire other people. Like we have the skills. I think that's something that we've also, just to give advice, we've also learned like, okay, yeah, we're not experts in the retreat business. We are becoming experts,
You will.
absolutely. But we have a lot of expertise in other areas. And so trusting ourselves that we really have everything we need to provide an amazing transformative experience in that 1 day retreat. And then we select, like we have amazing people in our network that come in for like different
Collaborate with
breath work,
facilitators,
somatic, like embodiments, like just different things that we, you know, it's kind of fun for us because it's all stuff that we want to enjoy too. So
Right?
Sexual wellness is a
Sexual
big
wellness,
part of it.
Yep.
We have vendors, and they get to try different.
I love that. So then that's the 1 day. It's kind of like a little taster.
Yes.
And so does the 3 day just kind of go deeper into these? Okay.
correct. Yeah. It's a deeper, more transformative like connection to yourself, and then also deeper connection with the women to truly like cement that sisterhood component, because part of our community is it's a membership. So we form these relationships in person, and then that's exactly what we experienced from our retreat. I mean, the women we went to our initial retreat with were still very
really
close with.
friends.
We have our own WhatsApp thread, and we try to get together, you know, as frequently as possible. Not, of course, never enough, but but it's really that cementing and growth and feeling like you are empowered and rejuvenated when you step in on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Right?
That part that you talked about with your WhatsApp group and staying connected, that element is something that is hard to describe to someone who's not experienced a retreat. And there's not even a value I can put on it.
Right.
But it's so like, it's just so important. I have guests who have been on my retreat over 10 years ago that are still connected and friends and support each other and fly out to special things. I mean, it's just...
It's amazing.
That part of it is like, you know, I can't put that necessarily in a Facebook ad, right? It's like people will be like, sure, I'm going to make that kind of friend. No, you really will make that kind of connection with the women or the people that are on retreat with you. And I think a lot of it has to do with that vulnerability piece. It reminds me, and I don't know the name of it. I should, y'all. My mental health background should come in, but it's not going to come in right now. But there is that theory, like, if you're in like a plane crash together, right? You survive this traumatic kind of experience. Those people tend to stay connected. They bond over that, right?
It's trauma bonding, basically.
Trauma bonding, right? But this is like, I guess you could say an element of trauma bonding, or we'll call it joy bonding. We'll call it
Pleasure
joy bonding.
bonding.
Yeah, pleasure bonding. Oh gosh, that's an ad for you. Pleasure bonding.
right,
I don't know what kind of response we'll get with that.
altogether.
That's that kind of retreat.
That's
I mean,
a
we
whole nother
all-
retreat. But it's this bonding that happens because of the vulnerability, because you said yes to yourself, because you said, I'm afraid, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to show up anyway. it creates this environment that relationships stem from that are literally life-changing and life-lasting.
Yes.
And so I like to really point that out because I think there's people who are on the fence about going on retreats. There's like, gosh, a lot of time, unfortunately for women, it's a worth thing too, where they're like, oh, I'm not going to spend that money on me.
Yeah.
I'd rather, let my spouse go on a hunting trip, or my kids need ballet, or whatever it is. They'll find every reason and excuse why not to spend the money on themselves. And that hurts my heart, but it is a reality. So there's that. And then if they do it, then they're like, oh gosh, but my stuff is silly, or my stuff is not as important as someone else's, or I'm just afraid. Like, I just don't want to share this information. And so there's just all these kind of things floating out there. But when you show up on the other side of that, the lightness,
so
like you
much
talked
freedom.
about.
Oh my God, liberation. And I also want to say, I think the size of the retreat matters.
Sure.
Our retreats are really curated to be intimate, anywhere from 10 to 15 women.
Yeah.
And so there is really deep connections that are formed. And I will say, every now and then I get some members of ours who are really, attorneys or really high strung, have never really shared vulnerably. And to them, it's like, you put me in a room. I was like this. You put me in a room with a bunch of men, a boardroom. I'm, going to
dominate that shit.
I will. And then you put me in a room with a couple of women and tell me to talk about my emotions, and I'm going to cringe.
That's the scariest thing ever.
I cannot do that. And I just want to say that, baby steps. We hold your hand. We've all been there. We know what it's like. It's not this whole cry fest where everybody's coming together and just falling apart. That's not it at all. You find your women and you open up as much as you want to, or as little as you want to, but it is such a freeing experience.
It really, really is.
Yeah, it meets you where you're at, right? And
Yes.
we are more connected through technology than ever, but we're less and less connected in person. And that's where the retreats, I think people are seeking it because they are really, whether they know it or their body is just desiring that like in-person connection. And that's where retreats, it's a huge pillar of what we do, because nothing can replace the power, the healing that can happen in person.
It reminds me of our herd of horses. We also have an electromagnetic field in our body, right? And so we were never designed to not have human-to-human connection. Just like horses are not designed to be by themselves. They actually can't function well. They don't stay healthy. They don't live as long. And they live a very almost poor life, just riddled with anxiety and fear when you're by yourself. We're the same way. And so we've now, unfortunately, created this world where we're behind computers and we're in these buildings. We're not connected to nature. We're not connected to each other. It's very limited. We don't have these communities to rely upon like we used to. So you're right. Retreats have become so important, and they're going to only get more important as AI continues to be this giant force in our life. And so obviously I'm tooting my own horn and your horn and anybody's horn who's in this industry, but truly this is the future. It's going to be in-person community experiences that gather people, whether it's a learning environment, a health environment, a fun environment, all the above, business, doesn't matter. But in-person experiences are really, really going to be so badly needed and craved.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are all in agreement there.
Yeah. Okay. When's your next retreat?
June 5th.
June 5th.
It's going to be in Austin, Texas, June 5th.
Awesome. Is that a 1-day or 3-day?
It's going to be a 1-day.
Okay, cool.
Our 3-day is in October.
Ooh,
right now.
awesome.
October 15th. I believe it's October 15th. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on our website.
Yeah. We will have that linked in the show notes as well.
Amazing.
One more question. What's the one takeaway you've taken from retreats where you're like, I didn't expect that to happen, and that's what happened? It could be good, bad, and different, or you can add one of each, or whatever you want. Like, what's the surprising element you walked away from when you held your first couple of retreats?
I think for me, the biggest one was I'm going to give you two. Okay. One is that less is truly more. Yeah. I think we put so much time and effort into having this perfect schedule and on the dot and having all these different facilitators. And when we got feedback from the group that came in, it was, we loved the connection, and I wish we had more time. And so the next few that we did, they were so sparse. We had so much time for connection, and the women just loved it.
Yeah.
And what came from that is my second point, the connections. Yeah. The connections that they built with each other, and the connections that they built with us as retreat hosts and as part of our membership. just was so much more solid.
Yeah.
And so I would say those were the two.
Yeah, I think that my biggest is just letting go of the agenda. It's like having a plan and then letting go of that and realizing that, again, this is a common, it's just a saying that I like. It's like, it's the message, not the messenger. And so really thinking that there's something that I need to be necessarily or do. It's really just being present, being the holder, and allowing for connection and conversation. So that is the biggest thing that I learned from the retreat, is to really allow women, prompt them, women to connect, women to share in small group, one-on-one, and then share to the larger group. And that time spent, which in my brain can feel like, oh, well, but we need to get to the next thing, right? Because we want to, I want them to have the embodiment, but the value and what they generate just from that. So it's really about, what is your goal? Like, what is the reason we are doing this one-day retreat, and really standing to that and letting go a little bit of the agenda, and less is more.
Yeah.
Let them be the experiencer of the retreat versus us giving them something.
I love that. I'm always, especially at our venue, I see agendas that come through, and sometimes I'm like, oh. And I'm not, as a venue owner and our team, we don't educate leaders on what they should or should not do, because it's just not what we do.
Right.
Unless they ask, then we'll offer some thoughts and some suggestions. But sometimes I'm like, I already know what's going to happen. And it happens every time we see these jam-packed agendas. We have a boutique store on site that our staff hangs out at, and people will hide in there to take a break. So they'll skip out on something, and they're like, I just needed a break.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm skipping out on this workshop or this yoga class or whatever, because they just wanted to like breathe and give their brain time to process. And people don't realize actually how much our brain is actually the thing in our body that burns the most calories and like takes up the most energy. Yep. And when you're on retreat, even if you're not writing a book or you don't think it's intellectual, your brain is working so hard on retreat, right? It's trying to reprocess things, and it's taking it in, and it's also like relearning things that, anyway. So our brain's working really hard. So I couldn't agree with you more that less is more. And I love that you said, I'm going to let go of you've let go of the agenda. And for those that are new that are listening, you might think, oh my gosh, but I'm selling the stuff, right? I'm selling the yoga class or the ice bath or the whatever. And you're not. You're selling what you're going to feel at the end of it.
Exactly.
And so in ours, we do have some things listed that's going to be on there, but I've now kept a lot of it off because I may not do it. Yeah. It depends on the group, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm suggesting to those of you that are listening that you don't have to list out everything on there. You could just say there's going to be mindset work. There's going to be somatic work. There's going to be, those types of things, because some people want to understand some of these elements, but you don't have to say there's going to be 4 sessions of this.
Right.
There's going to be 5 sessions of this. People get so caught in that because they think it's a money thing, it's a value thing.
Give them more value by doing more. In reality, that's not what people want.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the opposite, especially in female-driven spaces, but definitely even in male spaces or co-ed spaces. They still want processing time. They want chatting time. They want to ask questions, and they want to have freedom to have these conversations without going, oh shit, we've got to go. The next thing is coming up. Yeah. Of course, we can't be too loosey-goosey, I guess, but it kind of depends on what's going on in your world and what's going on in the space. The end result is how you want them to feel at the end of your retreat.
100%.
So
I have one other thing.
Please.
One other point that we learned was the first few retreats that we did, we kept the price point low, and we had more people show up, and that was kind of our plan.
Yeah.
And then we had one retreat where we charged more and had fewer people.
Yep.
And the conversion from the fewer people, higher price point was much better.
Yep.
Their experience was much better, which is why the conversion was better. And that's because they had more time to bond.
Yeah.
And so, it's the experience that's important. It's quality over quantity.
Yeah. This is really important. And you mentioned earlier, too, about the number of people. Listen, there are people out there that do retreats with 50 plus people. Yep. I feel like those are conferences, or even we'll call them camps, more than, to me, an actual retreat. A retreat means there's a transformation that's occurring within that space. It's hard to have a deep transformation if you've got, to me, more than 20 to 25
That's
at the
kind
very,
of what
very
I was
top.
going to say, 20 to 25.
Yeah. But also you mentioned something, too, which is price point. I'm never going to tell someone you have to charge XYZ. But I am going to always say, and you guys know this, is there has to be a very good financial benefit to the people who are hosting. There has to be financial, it's an energetic thing. You have to walk out of that going, oh man, I'm exhausted in a good way, but I also feel good about the energetic exchange that happened from a money and a profit standpoint. Yeah. Period, end stop, has to be there. The other thing is, it is actually, this is hard for people to hear, but it is actually easier to sell a higher priced package and retreat and get high value people who value themselves and the experience than it is to give away, in my opinion, an in-person experience that's at too low of a value. Yes. Now, can you package things differently? Can you include memberships? And there's all different ways to look at it. But my point is, you started it that way, you were growing your business, that's great. But as a whole, when people are hosting retreats and in-person experiences, if you devalue it with a low price point, one, it affects the quality of the person that shows up. And I know people are going to judge that. But what I mean by that is not, can they afford it? Are they low class? That has nothing to do with it. It's the mindset that they show up with. Yes. When you invest in yourself,
you're willing to put in the work.
You are showing up ready to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
When you're given something for free or it's a very low cost, you show up and you have less respect for it. You got to have this attitude. It's just, I'm telling you, that is just the way it is. And then conversion rates are always higher when somebody feels that this was a good, high value experience. And I don't mean value like we talked about as far as yoga and all that. I mean value is how they feel at the end of it. If they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm changed, I've transformed, I have this new lightness to me, whatever it is, whatever your goal was, it's a feeling, y'all. When that happens, and it's a good monetary exchange, they tend to continue their relationship with you. They want to know how else they can work with you. They want to, they want to continue this relationship, and it's mutually beneficial. Please know, anytime I'm talking money and all this stuff, it's not about like how much more can I get out of them. It's how much more it benefits both of us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm obviously going to make more money and be more profitable for my family, for my staff, for my business, for my company, for whomever I get to hire. And it's going to be more beneficial for the person who's receiving the services. And so I love that you brought that up. Yeah. That's so good.
I just recently heard and loved this reflection on this idea of like charging our worth, right?
Yeah.
And when we think about retreats or any services, we really, there was a really beautiful reframe in that, what is their ROI? Meaning, what are you helping them create or feel, and how does that ROI, like freedom or space or more effect, like how does it increase their ROI on Monday, right?
Yeah.
And that's really how you can value. And I would say, hands down, when we do a retreat that's transformative, that ROI is extremely high that participant experiences. And so we get to ensure that we're charging appropriately so that we are, feeling that energetic and feeling really positive about what we've provided for them.
Yeah.
So I loved looking at that less from like an emotion, like what is my worth? What do I feel my worth to be versus, hey, let's look at the ROI, like let's look at what we're helping create, their ROI and that person.
And it's a long-term relationship that you're building with them. Yeah. It's not a one-off.
Yeah.
You really are there to, at least we are there to really hold their hand. And it's a partnership, lifelong partnership, because we're here to help them live a long, long life.
One weekend doesn't change everything, but it's the catalyst. And then when you go back in, to your life, that's where the support, that's where the real kind of work starts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. To me, this is why it's so hard for me. It's priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's priceless. You're changing someone's life in some way.
Yeah.
Our experience.
That retreat changed my whole life.
Like that before and after.
It was a total before and after. That one weekend changed my life. And we think about, women are coming to us looking for longevity within their life, and let's say, I don't know, a 3-day retreat or a certain program or a protocol that we put them in is on $5,000. They go back and then they're living an extra 10 years of, a healthy life. What is the ROI on that? How do you even equate the two?
Yeah. See, I'm thinking we should start charging millions of dollars.
I kind of feel like, too. I'm like, now that we talk about it, like, we aren't charging. No, I'm joking.
Right.
But I think for us, it's relationship building. And we know that just with health, it doesn't, one thing doesn't transform your health, right? It's a daily practice, and it's going to change. And as women, in midlife, perimenopause. It's a season, it's a biological changing that we get to shift and be supported in.
Yeah.
And most likely we haven't really been supported or know the type of support we really need. So it's a really amazing time to really just go all in on you. And we are here to like champion that because we are so passionate about it. And we see it. We see the transformation. The lives change.
Yeah.
Women are just, we light up everything around us, especially when we're feeling
good.
Yeah, feeling good and having our cup full first, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
This was awesome.
As
Thank you.
as usual, you can find all of their information in the show notes. I highly recommend that you check it out. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. If you love this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your retreat besties. Want more support? Grab free resources at theretreatleadersplaybook.com. Until next time, lead boldly, serve deeply, and retreat profitably.